Okay, so the question here is how do we add prerequisites on modules in Canvas? And basically, you have to add them to the top of the module. So that's your big gray bar of the module. You're going to click on the little three dots here, and then you click on Edit. And this gives you the opportunity to lock things until certain prerequisites are met. So you could also put requirements as well so that they get basically a to-do list and they know they have to do things. So if I click on prerequisite, then I may say this module won't open until they do everything in the previous module. And I don't usually do that. I usually just don't publish the modules until I want them to do the modules. So I don't usually set those, but I do set requirements within the module itself, which is what this is. So you say students must complete all of these requirements. Students must move through the requirements in sequential order. So you can do that. Um, and you can also set it so that they have to, you tell it what it has to do. So my lesson one is just a page. There's not an assignment necessarily done there. So you could say mark as done. So the students are going to get a little bar and they have to mark that one as done. That's the first item in my module. Then I can add the second requirement, the drag and drop activity. And again, they're just going to view it as done. They have an activity to do there, but it's nothing that I can particularly tell that they've done. And then here, mark as done. So that at least they have to go through and mark it as done before they can move on to the next thing. But let's say that, and then this is an external URL. It has a little link there because it just goes to a Google form. All you can do is set it so that they have to have clicked on it. But once I hit update and hit continue, you'll see now it says a complete all items on here. And that tells you that you've set something. And then over here it says mark done, mark done, mark done, view. Okay. Now let's say before they get to this one, I want them to have to take a quiz. So I'm going to hit plus and I'm going to add a quiz that I already have made to the module. But let's say that I move my quiz up here, say before this activity. Okay. Now let me go back into this. And then I could add an additional requirement here. So I could say, maybe I'm going to give them multiple attempts on the quiz. Even, by the way, you wouldn't want to do this till you have the whole module built, because if you want to put them, in there in order, you're going to have to fix that. But so here I could say they have to just submit the quiz and then they can move on to the next thing. But I could say they have to score at least something, and I could set the quiz where they have retakes. So they would have to keep doing it until they got the proper score. But I could just say submit assignment. So they could go in there and just submit it blank if I don't have all the questions required or whatever. Okay, and then I'll just put the next one on here just so you can see. So we'll say mark is done, update modules. It'll say they've already started the module. I'll say, yeah, okay. So now let me go to student view just so you can see what it looks like for students. All right, so now we're in student view and they're gonna go to, well, my kids would go to announcements, but I don't have that set up as an announcement today. I go to modules and then now, well, actually you can see I had it on these. See, these little things are on here. They have not marked that, or well, I haven't done it because, I'm the teacher and I didn't do it. But you can see on here things that I have required. So here it says mark done. So they have to go through and actually click on it. And then they can look at it and play the Quizlet or whatever. But then they have to click this button and say that it's done before they can move on to that next part of the module. Now, technically, unless you set that they have to do them in order, they can still move on. I didn't check the box that they have to do them in order. I'm not worried so much sometimes with mine doing them in order. I'm just worried that they actually went to the page. So I want them to at least go to the page and have to mark it done. But if you want them to do an order, there was the place at the top where you had to tell them to do it in sequential order. And I did that in a different class. So let me get out of my student view here. All right, so here's an example in another class where I do have them set in sequential order because they need to do each activity in this specific order. So when you click the three dots, as I said before, you're just going to check the one that says you have to move through them in sequential order. And so that's what I've done on this one. mark as done, and then all these have to be submitted before you can do the next one. So let me pop back to student view just so you can see what it looks like for students. In the case of a student, when they go through the module, for the first one, they've got to mark it done. And I already did that. You can see that I've already clicked on it and marked it done. But see, these are grayed out now. So now when I click on the second one, I can still get to the third one, but it's not going to have a button to turn it in. So when I click on it, it's going to be like, this isn't unlocked. There's a prerequisite. So this one's locked until you do this one. It even gives them a link to get back to that one. So those are really nice if you want to put stuff in order. I do think, sometimes you have kids who miss a bunch and you may need them to move on with you today. So if you have something like that, you may not want to make it so they have to complete them in order, which is another reason I kind of like to do them in little units like that, because some units I want them in order and some of them I don't. So you do have to just kind of decide how you want to do that. But I just really like for them to have to mark things as done. I think it's just good practice to get them in the habit of it.